Hey, it's Doom here, half of the Dungeons Flag team from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits YouTube. And I think we are about ready to work on part 2 of our scatter pond. The circle is very pronounced, and we're going to have to hide that, but we kind of knew that going in. There are some spots where it's not as bad, and somewhere it could be worse. So let's get a chunk of cardboard here and lighten this up a little bit with a black mixed in coat of this burnt umber. So we want to do this with a brush that has a little bit of size to it, because this is a lot of work. And if our stuff's not completely dry, we'll know quickly. And then you'll see this is going to become a 3-parter. No, we don't know that yet. We might just have to throw it away. We can't be sure until it gets to that point. Get a little more paint. It's time to buy another one of these, and I keep telling myself when I go to the store to get one, and I keep forgetting. All right, we're going to lighten this up again, but first let's hit it with some air, hot air from our blow dryer, aka the hot air gun. Okay, let's get a shade lighter on that. Let's see what we can do. I got some of this melted chocolate here. Let's see if that'll do it. Not cleaning out the brush, just getting some of this melted chocolate, mixing it in with that. And we're just gonna kind of come around. See, I'm knocking some sand loose, or knocking it around a little bit. I really don't care. But this, like, I don't know. I've heard people call this stippling. This might be a better way to handle it if your surface isn't completely dry underneath there yet. What if it never dries? There we go. Do that again. And let's get, oh wow, rain picked up one little lighter bit of a color. And let's mix it with that too. Let's get a makeup brush for this. Mix that in there. Let's get a new piece of cardboard. Put that one in the trash real quick. Here we go. And we just kind of want to hit the surface over all that. Let's lighten that up one more. A drop of khaki. Now, let's get a little bit of hot air from our +2 hot air gun that's burning in my hand. And let's work our way outward with that. Just hitting some spots that are high. Ah, fuck. Fudge it. Just hit it. Just bring up some of those little stone textures and stuff. Okay. Now, we got something we can work with. Let's get any of the little rocks out of the middle we can. God knows I got quite a few in there. Oh, there's some paint coming off the edge there. Alright, so we want to do something with this inside. And I think a greenish blue is the way to go there. But first, I'm just going to get a little bit of this navy and a junk brush and see how hard it is to coat that. This navy's kind of thin. Let me get something a little thicker and dark. Alright, this is navy blue by acrylic. Anita's all-purpose acrylic. I am not sure where that comes from, but I know it comes from somewhere. So I'm not going all the way out to the edge just yet. I am just trying to coat this inner part here. So I haven't really painted much like this. So I'm using the theory that this pond is probably darker in the middle and then lighter as it goes out. And then ultimately there's some green and crap in it. I am not a professional pond painter. I don't know if you knew that. So we're going to keep that color out. We're just going to squirt a tiny bit here on that. We'll be plugged up. Hold on, we're plugged up. We give this bottle. Give this bottle an enema. Boop boop. Okay. Well, that didn't help. There we go. All right. And something a little lighter to mix with that. I'm thinking this Tuscan teal might work. And we're going to need something green to go around the outside with. Oh, there it is again. This is called English Ivy Green. Very nice color. Let's get our +2 hot air gun burning. Get that paintbrush again. Let's get a little bit of that blue. Just kind of hit that middle part again where it needs to be darker. And you can probably not go out as far this time towards the edges. Then I'm going to get a drop of that Tuscan teal and mix it with that blue. I'm going to try to get closer to the edges with that. Not bad. If that paint's still a little bit wet in the middle, it's good because you can kind of like pull it together and wet blend it some. Let's get a little bit of that green and put it in there. Let's go around the edges and pull it onto that. Start at the edges and work your way in. Try not to get it on the shore. If there's any rocks going down in the water, try not to cover them with it if you can. Mix a little bit more of that up. Doesn't have to be perfect when you come back and mix some more, you know. A little bit of error creates a little natural variance. Sometimes it gives some character to your piece. If you went around here and measured this all out at exactly like 1/16 of an inch or whatever. There we go. Get that crumb out of there. You might not be as happy with your product. It might look too fake. That rainstorm's coming down. It's beautiful. And we're almost done coming around here with that green. Now we're going to get that blue and mix it in with that. Keep it darkish. Keep it darkish. And we're just going to work our way in from there, one layer. Okay, let's get that green and get a real light bit with a little teeny bit of blue in it, and let's just kind of catch some of these areas that might be very, very shallow, like this little part over here, maybe this little corner right here. And maybe this little spot over here. Maybe it's a little more shallow there. Alright, let's dry that out and see how it looks. +2 hot air gun of burning. Let's bring this up into the camera and take a look at it. Something like that. See, it's subtle, not perfect, but for what I have planned, which I hope works, is going to be awesome. So I think what I want to do is I want to lighten up this ground out here a little bit more. So I'm going to grab another makeup brush, and I'm going to grab some of this khaki, and I'm going to get some of this. I've put way too much there, so we're just going to touch the tip of the brush and we're going to mix it around as good as we can to get an even coverage. Then we're going to grab another piece of cardboard. We're going to wipe a lot of that off. Okay, let's get our little tester thing over here. Still a bit much. Alright. Let's work our way outwards from the pond, not touching the pond, and just catch some more of the rocks and stuff. A little bit better than we did the last time. And this doesn't have anything else in the brush but khaki. I'm just trying to kick up some of these rocks. Trying to make them look a little better. Don't hit your water. You will be sad. You'll have to throw your project in the garbage. Alright, we're done with that. Let's get a small brush. A small crappy brush. In this pavement. And grab some of these bigger chunks of sand or spots that we don't like the way they look exactly. It's under the camera because I have a really bad habit of... Let's just get some of these bigger rocks and paint them gray. There's a bigger one. Here's a bigger one. If you make a little mistake, that's okay. It adds a happy little bit of a natural variation. As perfect as Mother Nature is, it's not because of uniformity. It's because of diversity. Diversity is a powerful tool to stimulate our imaginations, to stimulate our creativity, and to teach us to understand things outside of what we know. If everything was the same, we would create an enormous comfort level, and when something different came along, we would not know how to handle it. So diversity is super important. So we want a lot of diversity in our projects. Make them look as natural as they can. So even if there's cartoony portions or silly looking portions, it's still attractive. Okay. Nice. All right. Oh, wait, I see one more spot we need to do. Right here. Let's get these rocks. Oops, I went too big on that. It's okay. You guys see any other ones? Let me know in the comments. Tell me kind of where they were and call me some names. It's like, Chris, you piece of rat shit. Terrible job, sir. Terrible. All right. Now we can really make that pretty. Let's get a little bit of this pewter gray and touch those rocks for a little bit of discrepancy in their texture of their surface. Now you're probably wondering, oh, is he going to use resin or something cool? I am not. I don't even have anything like that. Oh, that's a lie. I do have something like that, but I've never even used it. buddy of mine that I helped do some model railroad stuff a couple years back did give me some resin. And all I did was make him a hedge maze. A really simple hedge maze with some mud and baking soda and the tiniest little bit of green scratch pads. This was probably 6 or 7 years ago, so I'm going to take a wild stab and say if I try to dig that resin out of the box, which has been in since I moved, it will not be good. But it might be, I don't know. Maybe I'll pull it out and try it. Or at least see how it works, and we could try it together. I don't know if you guys realize this, but a lot of these videos I actually consider failures. And I have actually deleted a couple, not too many, but a couple videos that I wasn't super happy with. If you use this gray, this lighter gray, and pick up some of the second largest rocks you saw, ones you weren't real happy with and didn't think they were a good choice for doing the first time around, just paint them this color and hit them with the dry brush on the next lighter color, and you'll have a different little kind of rock going around. There's some of that natural variation that I didn't plan for. You don't have to plan for it either. I don't really see anything else I'm too much more interested in picking out on here. I just wanted some variety. Just something pretty to look at while I'm working here with you. Okay. I don't know if you can really see from where you're at. I'm going to lift that up in a minute and we'll take a look at it. As I grab one lighter gray. So what we have is some different variations and bumps and rocks. And we have that gradient from that darkish green going into the dark blue. Now we're just going to get a little dab of this gray. Don't know why I did a dab of it. We all know that I just needed to dip it in the lid. So we're just getting a really light gray now. We're going to wipe a lot of that off. A little bit more. Get it all over the brush and wipe a lot of it off. Then we're just going to come by and just drag it along these rocks, giving them the highlights of them, little pretty detail. Just drag it in one direction real quick. You don't have to get fancy. Not with me, you don't. We're just here to have fun and paint. Make some trash into some pond front property. Awesome. Looks better than I could have expected or anticipated. Some of these lighter ones, make sure we hit those again with the second color so they're not monochromatic. Alright, let's bring it up and look now. We still have a lot of, I can't think of what it's called, CD ROM showing. And even though I kind of forgot about it, it's still there. So let's see what we can do to cover that up. So let's hit this with some hot air from our +2 hot air gun of burning. And dry. Our rocks. Now let's get a crappy brush and a little bit of glue. We're going to use my famous, not my famous, but this famous clear Elmer's. I don't know how much we're going to need, but that should be more than enough, I'm guessing. We're going to dip our brush in there and get it good and saturated. And we're going to get down in here in the texture. And we're going to do a test run on our flock. We're going to use some of this homemade flock first. And what we want to do is find a good shape that's not going to cover up all our little rocks we made, but maybe cover up some of the imperfections that we don't like for sure. So we can try to break those up. So I got this green flock here. We can start with that. Get an idea how we like it. Oh, threw my crap on the floor here, my tray. Alright, so something like that's not bad. Got a nice look to it. Let's see if we can do it in a couple other spots and cover up some more of this seedy shape. Maybe bring this a little further down towards the edge there. Maybe get up here around this piece of weird shit. Come up to the water a little bit. And then miss our pretty gray rock and come back down this side. What do you think? Try to hide a lot of that CD if we can. Okay. So, if I were one of those cool people that edited a video so you didn't have to suffer through it, this would be the point where we'd go into one of those montages where it shows me turning this thing and going around and doing that. Well, if you've been watching, I think you've already caught on. I'm not those people, and I don't do that. Why? Because if I have to sit here and do this, you're doing it with me. No, that's not why. It's because I don't really have the time to invest in it. I just want to get on here, and I want to make a video. I want to show you something I want to do, or something that you might get an idea from, or might inspire you. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to become some big super YouTuber and get super famous. I just want to make fun stuff and share it with you. This is a hobby, not a job. And if you learn something cool, or you get an idea from something I've done, perfect. If you buy some miniatures off me, hey, even gooder. Starting to come together. As we go on here, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. It means a lot. Now, since we kind of know how this is going and how it looks, let's do a little bit more of this. Let's really cover over here by the CD. But let's leave some room for some other colors. So we're getting that CD lip really good here. And we're going to bring that all the way out to the edge to an extent in a couple spots. Let's speed this up a little bit. Even though I was having a lot of fun taking my time, let's speed it up. Try to cover up as much of that CD seam as we can. Dragging it out some. Make sure you're getting it down in the rocks. Be mindful of your rocks. Okay. Let's get some flack. Save as much flock as we can. So I think for now we've done enough of that green. Let's grab another color. I have a lighter green, or a darker green I mean. That might look nice. Let's try a darker green. I have a brown. I have some flowers that I made. That's not bad. We could use those. Alright, so let's see what we got here. This is a darker green. A little less rich, a little less beautiful. But they can't say I don't make my pieces colorful, because look at that green. It's glorious. Alright, go back to our crappy brush. Dip her in the glue. And let's continue working on that seam. Missing the parts where we took time to make the pretty rocks, the pretty little stones. Let's try to avoid those where we can and when we can. Bring this lushness up towards the water some more right here. It's beautiful. Okay. So I have super good news, and I know there's nobody watching, so you won't hear this. But I have finished an enormous chunk of the Tomorrow Comes Doom fantasy playbook, which is like a Dungeon Master Guide, Player's Handbook, and Monster Manual all in one. And my goal was to make something that had a price point that your average person could afford it. Your players and your game master could afford it with no fuss, no muss. But it had a ton of resources and customability in it. And I'll tell you what, as I finished this big chunk that I got finished, and I went through it with a couple of my buddies that are helping me do some editing and some judgment before the first play test, just, going over some balance things and how funny something is or how cool something is. I will tell you, I was pleasantly surprised at how well it was going. I had a lot of concerns and insecurities, mostly because I've only written small stuff like adventures or built worlds. Not actually done any game building, but over the years, if you watch my house rules section, I have changed so many rules that it's almost not even like playing 3.5 anymore. It's some mix between 3.5, 4, 5, 2, advanced, and God knows what else. Alright, so we got something like that going on here. I think it's going to work really good for what I wanted to do. So, let's get it back up on the dealio bob here. And let's get a clean brush and try to wipe out as much of the crap we got in here as possible. And then blow it out. Make sure it's all loose and blown out. Alright. Now, the next step is going to be to hit this with a clear coat. So I'm going to hit this with a clear coat. We're going to come back and blow dry it. And then, I need a piece of metal. Here we go. We're going to hit this with a piece of clear coat. We're going to blow dry it. And then we're going to do the secret idea I had for making my water look good. Maybe we can add some bushes and stuff if we wanted to. Alright, we're just adding that clear coat so that it puts some sturdiness on that grass to help it like kind of lock down. So when we put the final clear coat on, it's not going to be blowing everywhere. Alright, moment of truth. Now, clear glue dries clear, in theory. So what I would like to do is get some clear glue in here. Spread that around to see if I have enough. Get a cheap brush or a piece of cardboard or something. And just bring it out to the edges. Thick. You want it to bring it out thick. Well, I don't know if you want to bring it out thick. I've never done this, so don't listen to me. Or do listen to me. I think this is going to be alright. If there's a little piece of grass or something in there, I think it'll be okay to leave that too. Let me tell you about a custom monster I use in my games. It's called a daggerfish. The lore is this. Many years ago, wizards developed a fish that could breathe water and small amounts of air for a period of time. They made this fish out of some kind of adamantium or magical strengthened metal. And they were a defensive barrier so that enemies couldn't travel through lakes and ponds and stuff. Well, that's all well and good, I suppose, except for it wasn't. Because we don't need to put trees on here or bushes. I was thinking we could do set modular trees on here since there's a lot of flat surface. But I do want to leave it like this and let it dry, and then we'll take a picture and come back. So anyways, the daggerfish, they're these little silver fish that swim in schools, and they reproduce relatively slow, so they don't overcome an entire ecosystem, but they crave humanoids specifically because they were taught to be defensive barriers in a war. So their goal in life, their training, their natural instinct they were given, unnatural instinct they were given by magic, was in fact to eat people, like flying razor sharp piranhas with knives for fins. And that, my friends, is what they do. And it is super fun. My people that play in my games already have encountered them. And every few games when they see him again, it's like a whole big, like, no, not that daggerfish. So here's the first problem I'm finding with this technique, is that it's pulling away from the edges of the water some. So I think the way to fix that is going to be to add some more. And then spread it around some. Spread it out more. Get it up on the sides a little better. Let it grab a little bit of that shoreline. I think that's going to help that. Let's get this nice and thick. All right. Now this is probably not going to be dry tonight, I'm guessing. I'm going to go put it in front of the fan and let it dry. I'm watching to see if that stuff pulls away. It's not. All right, so that's probably going to also, to an extent, flatten out a little bit. But I don't know that. So I'm just going to put a little more in there out of paranoid's sake. I'm just going to kind of get around the outside and then walk my way in. All right, so the daggerfish could possibly live in a pond like this. Maybe it's connected to other ponds via underground tunnels or a stream or a lake or a river or whatever it may be. They don't go in saltwater, only freshwater. And let's assume that there's perhaps daggerfish in here. So as our party comes up to rest at this sweet lake, or they've heard rumors of people disappearing in this sweet lake, they find out the awful truth. This thing is infected with an ancient species of fish that are really hard to kill. They're made out of hard metal. I was just popping an air bubble I didn't like. And another. So, this has been Doom. If you like what we're doing here, like and subscribe. Leave me some comments in the bottom part there. Tell me what you want to see me make or try to make, because sometimes we fail. Go to the website, go to the Discord, come talk to us. Thursday night is usually live paints. This week I'm doing Hero Quest with one of my college roommates. But maybe this weekend I'll try to throw in on Sunday I'll try to throw in a live paint. Invite some of my other YouTuber friends, and maybe we can all paint on Discord together with y'all. That'd be super fun. I could probably invite like Dave Odgara at a minimum. Maybe Craft and Ron from Seawolf's Den. We'll see. But let me ask them if they're interested. They might be. And I will take a picture of this once it's dry. We'll take it up on the table, take a picture of it, and throw some miniatures or terrain around it maybe, and get an idea of how it looks like. But you can't see the circle nearly as pronounced as you could. And I think that this is going to be a pretty epic and sick modular pond you can use. Not modular, but scatter pond you can use anywhere on your table. Thanks for watching.